Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to the Winning Drive, the prime time edition. I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by fellow Lifetime Longhorn, the young prodigy CJ Vogel, and our own coach, former high school football coach at Vernon, Capel, Brownwood, Belton, Rotan. Also played college football at Abilene Christian, coached there as well, and was on the staff at the University of Texas for multiple head football coaches. We're lucky to have him here today. And you can find his work at ShipleyRanches.com these days, among other talents that he has. Our own Coach Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
It's always better after a win, isn't it?
Damn right. Damn right. Yeah. I don't care who it's against.
Me.
Which I know. It don't matter. You're damn right, Coach. All right, Coach, I can't wait to get your thoughts about the game and Arch's performance. He was, 18 of 21 for 309 yards, 3 touchdowns. A lot of people believe that now he's kind of broken out of the slump. That was a slump buster. Don't know about that in Sam Houston State. But we'll discuss it and get into it. Sark also met with the media today. CJ Vogel was there. We'll talk about what Sark discussed with the media. We'll also get into the big story for coming out of Gainesville about Texas' next upcoming opponent, DJ Lagway, reportedly in a boot. At least seen in a boot. So we'll talk about what that means for that upcoming matchup. But, I mean, you do have a bye week in between that matchup, and so he's got some time, and all the reports are positive that he'll be ready to go. But that's a big story coming out of Florida. All right, so a lot to get into, but, of course, the show belongs to you. Show other people for the people and by the people. So throw out your questions, comments. We'll try to address as many of them as we can. Super chats, always jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time, but let's get right to it. Coach, hadn't talked to you since the in-game live watch, and we did the handoff. And since then, obviously Arch Manning has been even before that was the big topic of conversation. But this time it is a much more complimentary and a positive conversation about Arch Manning. Had his best game ever on the 40 acres versus Sam Houston State. Give me your thoughts overall about the team performance, but obviously don't bury the lead. What are your thoughts about Arch?
Yeah, well, I think, as we've been saying the last couple of days, who cares who the opponent is? The way Arch was, throwing some passes the week before, I'm not sure they'd have been good against air, with no DB back there. So I would say the funnest thing was, now let me go back and say this. You guys know me, I'm an old school football coach. I taught every player I ever coached, when you score, you hand the ball to the official like you've been there before.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you what, I was hooping and hollering when Arch was talking smack. I was hooping. You tell him, Arch, because you're back. I mean, I don't know if Archie's back, but he's got some confidence back. He's got some swagger back. And I don't know if he took my advice and got a hold of Scotty Scheffler's mental coach or whatever, but that was my suggestion. There's nothing more difficult in the world of sports, than like golf and tennis, because every especially golf, every shot matters, so you've got to forget you got to be mentally strong. So, but he seemed like he started off a little shaky. I was like, oh man, well, at least it was complete. The, receiver had to dive, whatever. But, the tip ball to Livingston, missed Livingston on that. But overall, I mean, good night. How could you, how can you say anything other than it was a huge step back in the right direction? We were 7 for 7 in the red zone.
Yeah.
We scored 9 straight possessions.
Yep.
So 7 of 11 on third down. I mean, the thing about Arch, when he is playing like that, it is such a weapon because of his legs. That's the ingredient and the intangible that he brings to this offense, because now as a defensive coordinator, you're like, if Arch is throwing and he's on while he's throwing, woo, Texas is hard to defend, and then when you add his legs to the mix, really hard to defend. I would say just overall offensively, it was great to see the receivers come back and have some swagger themselves. I think Parker Livingston continues to be the most reliable receiver in terms of getting open and catching the ball. Mm-hmm. Although, it was fun seeing the rest of the guys come back, even the younger players. That's what I was really looking forward to seeing those guys in the second half come through and play. But guys, I've come to the realization that our offensive line is not going to be the analogy I used earlier today on the lunch with coaches with Bobby. What was that? This line is not going to be an old Nebraska line that comes off the ball with their back flat and motor grades the defense back 5 yards. That's just not who this offensive line is. So when we start getting our running backs back, although I'll take James Simon anytime. I'll take him. I don't care who we have healthy. He needs his touches. He needs some touches, okay? Gibson, they all look good, but our running backs are going to have to do a great job of setting up their blocks. They're going to have to do a great job of fitting in small spaces and trying to bust through the line, because it's just not going to be those holes they used to say, you can drive a truck through. I think CJ used that analogy last week. It's just not going to happen for this offensive line. If it's not going to happen against Sam Houston, it's not going to happen against – not that they didn't do a good job, but it wasn't the dominant – mow you over type of offensive line performance that I was hoping that this line could do. They're going to improve and they're going to continue to get better, but so is our competition level. So they are who they are, and so the fact that Arch, is going to have hopefully his full arsenal of running backs back. He's got some confidence back. He's got his legs. I really think this puts our offense in a good place going into this open week before we start SEC play.
Yeah. To your point, Coach, even when they had a veteran O-line, Sark's O-line was still a finesse O-line.
Yes.
And maybe that's just how his offense and the techniques they teach. I have no idea, but it wasn't, like you said, a physical, dominating kind of road grading offensive line. They weren't that group. CJ, what was your favorite throw? What was the best throw of the night for Arch?
Oh, man, I have to go to that DeAndre Moore crossing route. Fits it in between the cornerback and a middle linebacker there. That's a throw through first 3 weeks. I think he skips in, and I thought the timing was there. I mean, he put some mustard on it as well. That ball got there quick to DeAndre Moore. And what a return to the offense DeAndre Moore makes, right? This is a guy who, whether he has the ball in his hands or not, he just creates for this team. And it's creating as a blocker in space. It's a guy that clears out and warrants a lot of attention from opposing defenses as well. Getting him back into this rotation is massive. But no, that throw to me was very, very impressive. And Coach, you talked about it, steps in the right direction. We had hoped to see it a little bit against UTEP. Obviously took a little bit of a step back there. But I think this game puts Texas back on track to where they want to be offensively. Now, you got to go out there and do it against a good defense. And Florida has a very good defense, as a matter of fact. So 2 weeks to prepare in that regard. But I think we might be seeing the remedy for the red zone struggles appear to us in real time. And I think that's Arch Manning's legs. 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. Look, that leads SEC quarterbacks right there with John Mateer through 4 weeks. If that's going to be the case, I think you use him as Bam Bam Sam back in the day, and you go ahead and say, Arch, sorry, man, but you're going to have to get hit if we're going to punch it in from the 5 and in, and I'm perfectly okay with it.
No, Sark's running design quarterback runs on the first drives of the game now. Like I said, you said on the first drive of the game, you had a design quarterback run. So a couple actually. So I think he understands you need the quarterback run game, the +1, the run game to add juice to the offense. And he's even talked about sometimes to get him to get him comfortable and to get him in a groove, to kind of get him to the point where he's thinking less, right, and just playing more. He likes to run them, and I think it's been working out for Texas in that regard. My favorite, obviously, the Ryan Wingo throw. The Ryan Wingo catch was probably better than the throw. Not I agree. Watched it, guys.
That was a great adjustment there by Ryan Wingo.
It's subtle, but it's Coach. You're wide. You know about what playing the wide receiver position. He had it was probably supposed to go over kind of that upfield shoulder, and it ended up coming like over the top. And he had to adjust, and it was an amazing adjustment by Ryan Wingo. Showed great body control. Just showed that He's got tremendous hands too when it all comes down to it. Even though I know he's had a couple of drops, but that was a great catch. Like I said, better catch than it was a throw. The throw was phenomenal too, by the way. It's a really good throw. And my third favorite throw, I know we are used to seeing this play, the Y delay, or the Y sneak. Yeah. That was the LASIK catch. Yeah, there you go. That should be on that commercial, Courtney. I agree with you. But the reason that play is special, because he knows what the Y delay is going to be. Everybody knows the tight end delays release, and he runs that drag seam or that drag wheel, whatever you want to call it. All right, you've seen it over and over again. So our Jack Injury scoring it this year. And on that play, Trevor Gooseby, like he doesn't miss, but he's got beats him. Guy beats him right off the edge. And if I'm not mistaken, James Simon as the running back, he's supposed to chip that edge. He's going out to the flat, and he like I look like he's trying to chip him, and he misses. Like or he has a bad react, whatever it was. I think he was supposed to chip that guy, and he didn't. And the guy was coming around the edge, and he was clean, and he was going. Essentially, that play was dead. And Arch has the pocket awareness. He feels the pressure. He's able to extend the play, and then just made the throw and knew exactly where the guy was going to be. Just had to put it on him. Didn't have to. Just don't miss him. He's wide open. Don't miss him like he did versus UTEP. Miss some wide open guys. And that to me was one of his best plays just because of the sack avoidance. And that play, sometimes you need your quarterback to make you right, even when some players get it wrong and the coaches get it wrong. And your initial protection failed and your fail safe, all right, blew up on you. And he still found a way to make the play. Like, that's what you need quarterbacks to do. That's what special quarterbacks do. Yeah. I get it with Sam Houston State. I get that. I understand.
We'll talk about this in a minute, but favorite catch of the day? Jelani McDonald.
Oh, that's good, Coach. That's good.
We'll talk about that later, but I'm telling you what, man.
That's good.
Golly, what an animal, man. That guy has got incredible vertical athleticism.
Yeah, he's playing at a high level right now. He's played like 3 straight games where he's been, I think, made special plays that stood out.
Yeah.
And what did Coach call him today, CJ, at the media availability? A turnover what? What did he say?
A turnover machine. Look, 2 straight games with an interception, of course, and he also had the batted pass that was intercepted by Jalen Gilbo. Look, that's clubhouse leader right now in interceptions with 2. And I think a lot of NFL scouts are certainly catching the attention of what he's putting on the field, saying, I like what I'm seeing right there from Jelani McDonald.
Yeah. I know. Now I'm curious what the vertical is. And Sark mentioned that he played, all these different positions, played corner. They put him at star for a while, put him at linebacker, and then they finally settled at safety. Like he's played all these different positions. So, yeah, maybe he is going to be the next Thorpe Award candidate for the Longhorns in the back end. All right.
Hey, the way he went up, how about a Travis Hunter?
Ooh.
Mm. I mean, we got a pretty loaded wide receiver room, but if they were struggling,
and you got Hail Mary situations, if you got a put him in there in the Hail Mary situation, let him just go jump ball. I know that was, like I said, that was impressive. I wish we still had that sports science show, and they go about what his actual vertical is based on that, because it was freaky. And usually you're supposed to knock those down, really, unless you're really confident you can make the play. Like DB coaches will tell you, knock that down. We don't want a chance of you to try to pick it and bounce up in the air, and then they get it. So usually they tell you to aggressively go in there and literally try like what is Marcus Spears' daughter name that for the Texas volleyball team? Huh?
Carrie
Spears? Dude, okay, first of all, sidebar. I went to see the Texas volleyball team this last week.
Yeah.
She is she is a force of nature. Like,
she's unbelievable.
Like the girls on her team look like they're scared of her. The force in which she will spike the ball, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Like sometimes the girls will get hit in the face and you just feel bad for them. Like, oh man, because I haven't seen. I don't know. I know Texas had a long storied, volleyball tradition, so they've had great players. If she's just a freshman.
Oh yeah, no, dude, she's spectacular.
Yeah, she's got a shot to be the best player in the country if she keeps it up. Like, I think she's that special. She just eye test coach. You ain't got to know much about the sport. You ain't got to know a damn thing about the sport. You can just go there and watch and we're like, oh, yeah, I think she's the best player on the floor.
She's jumping high, swinging hard.
Dude, it is. I'm telling you, she's worth the price for admission. I ain't joking with y'all, man. It was phenomenal. Okay, we got a special guest, as we always do. On Mondays, we are joined by my former teammate and also lifetime Longhorn Stevie Lee, courtesy of our good friends at Hardgrove Roofing, hardgroveroofing.com.
Coming up in a few minutes. I'm not sure he's here just yet.
Oh,
he was, and then he
was, and he left. Okay, my bad. All right, I'm introducing Stevie. Ain't even here. All right, you know what? That's perfect. We can super chats then. That's it. Menu to Sports, who says, off-topic players, I didn't realize CJ had an AP vote. Is the only way I can explain OU and his lover boy picking up a number 1 ranked vote.
Look, 2 ranked wins. How good are those 2 ranked teams? We'll see, I guess. I don't think Auburn's anything crazy. Michigan. One thing I will say about Oklahoma, look, you have a good defense. You have a very good quarterback. I don't think you have much else offensively. Deion Burks, of course, is there. Tight end isn't great. I don't think the running game is anything special. In fact, it's one of the worst in the SEC. And that offensive line will certainly allow more pressure than anybody that Texas has faced competitively so far. So, look, Texas needs to get right offensively against Florida before they go up there and they face Oklahoma in Dallas. But I'm feeling a little bit more confident given what Texas saw on the field last Saturday night than where I was, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. OU is beatable. They're just they got a playmaker at quarterback, and you can't quantify that. It's CJ Vladimir. I would say that CJ convinced me early on to get on the Mateer bandwagon. So I remember he was like, I'm telling you, it's the real deal. He was talking about him in high school and stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go watch this Washington State film. And I came on and told you, I was like, if he can do that in the SEC, then Oklahoma's gonna be a problem.
I'll put the Mateer hype away, Rod. If we can get all collectively on the train for Heisman Mendoza, how about that?
Yeah,
Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, no, you're right. He's balling. That's true. Good point. And we're a third of the way through the season. And I'll say this too about because I know, you know what? Let's hit the super chats. I think it'll lead into this conversation. There's another one. Thank you, Menu to Sports. We appreciate that. How about this one from Lane Seawright? He says, my hope is that Arch consistently brings the confidence week to week. How did Black Caesar do it? Any pregame rituals or stories for Ron? Yeah, no, that's, I think for Arch, to me, when he's out there, I don't know if he's talking trash. It seems like he was talking some trash. When he was out there, staring down the defender, I think his last name was Fish, after he scores a touchdown. Remember the interaction with Sark? Whatever Sark, did somebody ask him what Sark said to him when he got hyped? I want to know what he say to him, because he just got. I was like, yeah, go in. Like
I didn't see it during the game. It was made a big deal, obviously, on the TV broadcast and on social media. I didn't see it in real time. Okay. I didn't see it until about 2 a.m. Saturday night or whatever, when I'm sitting around. We just wrapped up grades, coach, and I'm sitting around on the couch watching USC Michigan State. Look at my phone, I'm like, oh, he shoved the hell out of him. What was that about? So no, I haven't heard.
I assumed it was just that he was hyped. But I was saying, what did Sark say to him that got him so hyped at this? He was already. So my point is this: we hear all the time in practice, he's instigating the trash talk, right? He's talking trash to the team. He brings the juice to practice. That he talks trash and he's got a lot of swag. That's what we hear about him. That's what we saw last year in those 2 starts. Talks trash, got a lot of swag. He's got the celebrations ready with his teammates, and I feel like we were missing that earlier this year, that type of Arch. And now Sark is going on the record and said, oh no, he's better when he plays with emotion. He's better when he plays with passion like that, and when he just is unapologetic about it, just lets it flow, lets it out. And that's if you're a different player, kind of in practice than you're in the games, that can, maybe that's the issue for him. If he needs that emotion. Right, Missouri Arch. Exactly. Whatever it is, I don't know what his alter ego. Mine was Black Caesar. I had to flip the switch. All right, and that guy had more confidence than Rod B. Had a very short memory. probably said a lot of inappropriate things that I didn't want my mama to hear, and that a God-fearing man should not say. That these days would get me canceled, right? That guy was a different cat though, and he played with a lot of emotion and passion. So I think there is an alter ego for Arch, and I think he is finding it, that alter ego that he has on the field. And I hear about him in practice all the time, and I've seen glimpses of him. Now I think we're going to see more of that guy. Now he's got to play well, all right, but I think he's going to be more of that dude. You got it. And you can't, if you're Arch, man, you can't try to, hide that or try to tame it. Like, let it loose. Let it loose, man. Let that alter ego, whatever it is. I was Kool-Aid coming in. I got a lot of alter egos. Blatrick Swayze is one of them too. Yeah. But not on the field. On the field, I was just Black Caesar most of the time. But
That's great.
We're going to get more of that Arch, man. That's what I'm saying. That was fun to watch. And I still want to know what Sark said to him. They got him.
I do too. I told Coach right after the game, I said, look, I was ready to give Arch an A the minute that he stared at that kid. And I know it's made the rounds. It probably wasn't great for him to do it. But look, it's something that we haven't seen from Arch this year, right? And I've been wanting to see that emotion. I was about to start calling him Milk Carton Manning, because where the hell has he been? Who is this guy that we're seeing on the field right now? That's not who we were led to believe over the last 8 months of off-season prep. So that was encouraging to me. Now, again, got to do it against Florida. Got to do it in Dallas against Oklahoma. That's where it really matters. But right now, certainly a step in the right direction. And that takes a lot of pressure off of me when it comes to sitting here saying, yeah, things are going to be all right.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody just put up a message about, I don't know, something referred to, I never said I was a role model. I don't know if that was fictitious or real, but yeah. But here's the thing about that. That's a great point, because Arch has to be Arch. He can't be who society and the fans want him to be. He's got to be himself, and I think he showed the competitiveness, the desire, a little frustration, from previous games, but Arch has to be who he is. And if that's not a role model, that's okay. He's not flipping people off and kicking them in the nuts or anything. You know what I'm saying? He's he just playing with swagger and confidence, and I think he needs to be who he is, who he's comfortable with, and he'll continue to grow.
Yep. The arch nemesis. Ooh, I like that. It's a nice alter ego there. I'm sure we're going to find a nice one. We're going to find a nice alter ego name for Arch's new swag. Or not new swag. I think it's his old swag. It's his original swag. We got to see more of. All right. Man who's got plenty of swag, and he's back, is my former teammate, lifetime Longhorn Stevie Lee, who joins us each Monday, courtesy of our good friends at Hardgrove Roofing, hardgroveroofing.com. You can reach out to them today. They're offering actually a free roof inspection if you need it. They have offices all over Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. You won't find a more professional and more reliable service than our friends over at Hardgrove Roofing. So check them out today at hardgroveroofing.com. Know who's on your roof. It won't be Stevie Lee. Stevie Lee, have you ever gotten on anybody's roof?
Hell no.
That would be a funny commercial. You should go. This is a commercial idea. All right, because I know y'all have done commercials with Hardgrove Roofing. Go, like, you basically come to somebody's door. They've already ordered the service of Hardgrove Roofing, and it's you. It's you, and then you're like, yeah, I'm here for Hardgrove Roofing. You're like, are you Stevie lifetime Longhorn Stevie Lee? Like, yeah. He's like, but I'm working with Hardgrove Roofing today. They're like, are you putting on my roof? It's like,
yeah. The commercial needs to be Stevie on the roof, and then like they keep playing it, but the director says cut, and they pan out, and there's a crane up there with a strap that's Stevie hitting on top of the roof, but you can't see it during the commercial. And they act like the commercial's a movie, but it's not. He goes, cut. Stevie goes, get me out of here.
That's actually really good, Coach.
Both of y'all got some creativity in you, man. That's good.
That's funny right there. All right, let's get your thoughts about the game. And tell me about Arch. What you think about Arch? Don't bury the lead. That's what everybody wants to talk about.
I hear, man. First of all, Chris brought up Kool-Aid, man. I ain't heard that one in a long time.
Long time. Yeah, long time.
He got insider information. How he know it was Kool-Aid on the football team?
That's H-Town. That's H-Town back in the day.
Yeah, man. Hey, no, the game was fun to watch. It was fun to see the kids get in the rhythm. Hey, man, if I'm being honest with you, I still want to see some things cleaned up. If y'all will allow me to be honest. So we still got penalty problems, yes, right? Man. And I also now thinking that we have a little bit of an O-line problem. So so I want to see that stuff cleaned up. I'm so happy that we have a bye week to get some guys healthy, and then going into the gauntlet that we have coming up. So I'm happy overall. The lead though is Arch Manning. I heard you guys talking a lot about Arch. Arch, I like his swag. I'm glad they didn't call a taunting penalty on him. But I think the referees let him cook a little bit. They knew he was a little frustrated and he got some stuff out. So I like it. I like it a lot, but let's take it with a grain of salt, guys. We were playing Sam Houston, right? So the receivers did get away from these DBs, but that made Arch feel comfortable with throwing the ball. If we go up against a team that these DBs are running with our receivers in their hip pocket, does Arch still feel comfortable getting the ball out there, comfortable enough to still sling it out there when someone's on somebody's hip pocket? So I'm sorry, I'm ruining the party, but that's just my feelings right now.
I like it. No, this is how I look at it. What Sam used to say, because I was on the record. I said it's a slump buster. If Arch can't do it versus Sam Houston State, then there's some major issues. Press the panic button. He did it. He showed out. He looked great. And your point about the O-line issues, Coach said the same thing. So you and Coach, you're watching the same thing. Y'all watching them trenches. Coach said the same thing when I asked him, "Hey, Coach, what do you think about the game?" He was like, "Yeah, it was great, but O-line." And you said so. I'm gonna go back and watch the film and just go watch O-line. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm gonna get on y'all's level by just watching O-line. But this is how I feel about Arch and the Sam Houston State game. It was an open book test. Now, you remember open book test? Nobody's ever failed an open book test.
Can't do it.
And if you failed open book test, then you just come on now. The lowest column of the come on now. That's just terrible. That's a low.
I gotta say this though. Usually the people giving those open book tests were the coaches that were teachers. We got that star player. Yeah, we're going to have an open book test today. Billy, you can open your book. The rest of you guys, whatever you want.
That's how I know, Coach. I took a lot of those, all right? I was that jock. Like, open, I was like, yes, open book test. Well, obviously, you're expected to make an A on an open book test. That's what Arch did. The next test will be at Florida on the road. And that's a really good test before the midterm. And the midterm is always the same game, Texas OU. Everybody's midterm at Texas has always been the same game. That's what determined largely, like, are you guys, what track are you on? Are you on a national championship kind of track? You going to win the conference kind of track? Or y'all just going to compete this year kind of track? Like, what kind of track you on? And that's the midterm. So Arch got to get ready for the midterm. It's coming up. Just had open book test. He did great. But you can't get too happy about getting an A on an open book test.
Got you. Yeah, that's a great analogy, man. I'm actually right there with you. It was an open book test. What I did like is they ran a few zone read plays and let him use his legs a little bit. I like that. Hopefully that's coming up to free up some space in the secondary. So I think that. All in all, it was good. We all left with smiles on our face. Listen, Coach Brown told us it's hard to score 55 against air, right? and it's hard to keep somebody to zero in college football. They got scholarships too, right? So we did good. We did what we needed to do, what we were supposed to do. Let's keep it up. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Tough thing to do going in the SEC, Stevie. Texas obviously on a bye week this week. What are byes like for folks who may not have been in that locker room, may not have, suited up? But tell me, what is a bye like at Texas?
For us, Rod, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that we had a hard practice on Tuesday, pretty hard practice on Wednesday, kind of shelled back on Thursday, and then we were released to go home.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful for me, man. It's a 5-hour drive to Shreveport, but I jump in the car and get straight home. I can hug on the family, see some friends, mama cooking. And then we had to get back on Sunday night at 7:00. We had to be back at
team meeting usually, right? Usually a team meeting.
For a team meeting. Yep. And then we go into game week. So bye weeks was always good for me, man. I kind of recharged. If my high school had a home game, I put my Texas gear on and go out to the high school game. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Stevie Lee. Hey, girl, how you doing? Yeah, man. So it was bye weeks are fantastic. Well, it was fantastic for us, man. But I don't know what these kids are doing these days. They may take a private jet over to something like that, man. So
no kidding.
They can go coast to coast these days for a little while.
No question.
Mama's Cooking probably is going to come with a Michelin star, depending on how things are going now.
No question.
Stevie, here's a question from J Ray 626 that actually I'm intrigued by. Stevie, Rod had Black Caesar. What was your on-field persona?
Oh, on-field persona?
Everybody didn't necessarily have one, but I would give you my teammates. I would give you some of them, but I don't want to reveal their stuff. But
I don't think I had a name or anything like that. Yeah. But I had a nickname throughout the team. It was but that's a story for another day. I don't want to incriminate anybody.
That's what I was saying. You can't share all that, Steve. You can't share all that.
Yeah.
You can't share it all, man. You can't share it.
Can't.
Yeah. But I think everybody you got to flip the switch somehow.
Yeah, no. Now, when you're talking about, and I talked with my girls playing volleyball, we don't allow bad mouth and a potty mouth in our house and things like that. But if they're on the court and they see a girl across the net and they have to say something to her, hey, it's all game, man. And so when the whistle blows, I was definitely a different person. Yes, absolutely, different person. And sometimes Rod, you might know that sometimes you get in those games where you just almost in an out of body experience and everything slows down for you. Yep. And you watch film, it's like, damn, I did that. Mm-hmm. Like you feel animalistic almost. Yes. Sometimes you in the zone and things just slow down and you just out there having a blast. I remember once in high school, running back from LSU, we were playing each other. It was a playoff game. God, I'm blanking on his name, but anyway, I was under the pile and I was just blank. And it was raining that night in South Louisiana, and I was just under the pile and I was in the mud, face down in the mud, and I was just breathing hard. And I remember his name. God, I can't remember his name, but he goes, "That's number 65, ain't it?" And he got up and he said, "Yep, that's him," because I was all over the field and I didn't even know it. And when he said that, I kind of snapped out of it, and my teammates was like, "Yeah, man, you everywhere." And I was like, "Okay." And then I went back into it and stayed in it, man.
Oh, that's great.
Out there. Once you get going, you get going, man.
Yeah, no doubt. That's great stuff. As always,
Steve should be the conductor with the way he conducted the band after the first Rose Bowl. He was good. Marco, I like that.
Golly, man. Y'all bringing back memories, man. Kool-Aid, directing the band.
Wow.
Dude, y'all got some memories on y'all, man. That's awesome.
You got video of that, Stevie?
I don't have video. I have a picture somewhere, man. After the kick went through the uprights when Dusty Mangum kicked it to beat Michigan. That was my last game, my last time strapping on the helmet, and I just started running for no reason. I don't know what I was doing. It felt right. You know what I'm saying? I remember that, I was friends with all the cheerleaders because my wife's a cheerleader. Mm-hmm. I remember walking up or running up to Kip, grabbing the big flag and waving the flag around in the middle of the field, right? Dropped that, ran over to the band, and then went up to direct the band That's all I remember, man. That night was a fun night, man. That's bringing back memories, dude.
It's called joy, Stevie. You were so transported by joy.
Stevie, let me put it into perspective for you. Just think how far the year 2046 is away from us. That's how much time it's been since you did that.
Dang it.
Come on, Coach.
That's kind of crazy when you think about it that way, Coach.
20 years ago, yeah.
There's a lot more to me than a pretty face.
No, you're right, Coach. And you know what?
2046, yeah. That seems like, it's like, wow, that's been 21 years ago.
It was. And
people still remember it. That's what's amazing.
People still remember it. And I'm going to leave y'all on this note, man. I had fun. My years on campus, I had fun between there and now, and I'm going to have fun on the way out too. So this is all fun for me, man. I love hanging out with y'all and talking with y'all. Enjoyed you guys last week at Hole in the Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm having a good time, Coach. That's a good memory, man. I'm gonna go find that picture. I'll send it to you guys.
Dude, you got that picture. That's amazing. I never heard that story, bro. That is so cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll let you go. Have a great rest of the evening. Tell that lovely family that we said hi and appreciate you and love you, brother.
Got you, man.
Welcome. See you, Stevie.
Thanks, Stevie.
That's Stevie Curtis of our good friends at Hardgrove Roofing, hardgroveroofing.com. Offices all over Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. The most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. That's hardgroveroofing.com. All right, let's get to Super Chats because we got a bunch of them. Let's get to this first one here is from Paxton. For you, Coach. He said, Coach, do you still believe in the term defense wins championships?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, I guess nothing is always 100% right other than, ain't none of us getting out of this world alive. That's you can't argue that. But no, I do. Every great team that wins championship, especially in FBS football, has a great defense. Show me one that didn't have a great defense.
Right.
They do. I would say that it's absolutely necessary to have a great defense to win a championship. Defense doesn't win the championships, but it's the main ingredient of a championship team.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last team to win a championship that didn't necessarily have an elite defense. What was that? Was that LSU defense? It wasn't elite. It
had plenty of NFL players,
a lot of NFL.
But it probably wasn't statistically a very good defense. Of course, when your offense scores in 3 plays every other possession, you get put on the field pretty often. But no, that's probably the one you can look to, especially during the run of Georgia's and Alabama's, and say, okay, that wasn't a great defense, not a national championship level defense, right? Ohio State a year ago was, Michigan certainly was.
Yeah.
You got to have that level of play, especially now. Because, Rod, we've had this conversation plenty. You can look at the quarterbacks who have just hoisted a number of championships and said, that's who's winning championships?
Yeah.
It's surprising.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. What you're talking about, Georgia or Alabama, but like you said, elite defense has been the commonality there. Hey, thank you for that super chat, Paxton. Getting to another one from John. John, thank you for the super chat. Says, thank you, OTF. Well, thank you, John. Says, think Sark has been hiding Brooks for Florida. Aside from being in the doghouse, I was at the game Saturday. He is massive. How he grade? I'm not sure how he graded out. I think I'll look up the Pro Football Focus stats, but the massive thing is true. There's a shot during the game where they're basically it's the back shot of all the offensive linemen while they're standing up, and Nick Brooks makes the rest of the O linemen look small, like it's freaky. Under 300-pound guy. So he is massive. Are they holding him back or something like that, CJ? You think they're?
I don't think so. Look, he played well. There's still, if you go back and watch when he was on the field in the fourth quarter, there's plenty of room for him to improve on. And that's what you would expect, right? A freshman making his first ever appearance in a game for the Longhorns. But look, 7 pass protection attempts, 0 pressures allowed. He was in the game for 18 run snaps as well. So just climbing to the second level, I think, is where he's really good at. You see it there. He was about what does that say? A 70 overall offensively, a 66 and run blocking, and 80 in pass protection. That makes sense. For a guy his size, it's going to take some time for him to understand fronts and diagnose where he needs to climb to or who he needs to help on and chip off the offensive line in run blocking. But he's going to grow, and he's going to be a big-time player for the Longhorns. And it's, again, when you see a kid move in the way that he does at 6'7", 349 pounds, you get excited. And right now I think folks are very excited, rightfully so, about where he will be in his future.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely a bright future with that young man. Another super chat from Paxton, actually. Another one. Thank you, Paxton. Said, it's early. No one looks like contenders. I pace myself now, and I don't get too keyed up anymore. Yeah. Do you think that there is a team right now in college football that, for either of you, Coach, you or CJ, that you think, no, they are ahead of the rest of the pack? Like, they have separated, in my opinion, through the first third of the season.
I separated themselves from the pack, I wouldn't say. I think that there are a few that are really close to doing just that. I think Miami's in that conversation. I think if you look at Ohio State and the way that they've been able to construct that offense and the way that Julian Sain's really grown, the same way that we've talked about Arch in week 4, right? Saying week 2, 3, I thought he looked great. And I think Dante Moore over in Oregon. I don't think of the top 5 teams in the country, I don't think the SEC has one. I think Georgia's the closest. But I think Tennessee, again, not a great pass defense. That's a team that gets a lot of pressure. It's a team that has a great offense, and that pass defense is atrocious. So how good will we see these SEC teams climb? I don't think it's a great year for the SEC. I don't. And I do think looking outside of the conference, well, who might be those teams? Florida State's kind of legit, right? Miami looks good. I just mentioned 3 teams in the Big Ten who I didn't even include Indiana. So We'll see. But right now, I think it's still pretty tight-knit until conference gets going, and that's when you see teams really start to separate themselves.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, let's get to – I love this one. Jonah Williams enthusiast. Congratulations, Jonah Williams enthusiast. Says still drunk from the party we threw when Jonah Williams got on the field. Oh, yeah, it was a beautiful thing to see Jonah out there. Honestly, what did Sark say? He said in the 75 players, he said 75 players played in that game, I believe, against Sam Houston. I think in the media availability today, he said in the first 4 games, they've had 87 total players play, which is a big number. But it was great to see Jonah Williams out there. That's a lot of the young DBs. Kate Phillips was out there pretty early on. And it was just a conversation we were having, CJ, before the live stream. And I brought it up on second watch with Bobby. And I got to go back and track it and not because I got to go back and watch the games early this year and go back and watch the games last year and try to see what the rate of press coverage is for Texas. But I think they played more press coverage against Sam Houston State than I've seen them play all season long at the cornerback positions. And I'm not sure if it was just a matchup specific thing or this is something that Texas wants to deploy more of or utilize more of. I'm not sure about that. I'm not.
20 freshmen played, by the way.
Woo.
20 freshmen. So Jonah Williams, that's so. How about we have together a drinking game or something for when Emmett Mosley gets on the field?
I have no idea. I don't know when that's happening.
Or how about have you seen him, CJ?
It hasn't suited up yet. Hasn't seen the field. Hopefully the expectation is that this week going into the bye week, he starts to ramp up some of his participation in practice. But again, we've called him Sasquatch over here over the last week or so, just because you hear all about him. You don't see him. So hopefully, again, I got my fingers crossed that this is the week against Florida that you really start to see Emmett Mosley and what he can do in this Texas offense, because I think Texas desperately needs that 4th wide receiver, a guy with experience.
And they need somebody that can block really well for those wide receiver screens.
Yeah.
And they did a decent job against Sam Houston State, but you need, from what I hear, Emmett Mosley that could be one of the places he excels as well, is it blocking on the perimeter, which they need more of that too. But yeah, I don't know. I need proof of life at this point for Emmett Mosley. I need somebody to snap a picture of him just so I know he's okay. Now I'm worried about him. Is he all right? Is he around? Is he in class? Can we get, I don't know, can I get some of that? Can I get at least to make sure that he is enrolled and in class? Because at this point, I don't expect to see Emmett Mosley anytime soon.
By the way, I love the name Emmett. When's the last time you heard a baby named Emmett?
I can't say I know any.
It's just a throwback name, you know.
It's old school.
Back in the good old hard-nosed days of football, you know, you named him Emmett, you know, and you named him Bronco and, you know, stuff like that. I love it. Good old throwback name.
No, it's a lot of those. Like, you know, you never meet a sexy Ruth anymore. Like, you know, I never met a sexy Gertrude. Like, you need a right, Coach.
Hey, you ever met a sexy Beulah? My grandmother was a Beulah.
Exactly. And I'm sure she was very attractive in her day. But my point is now, you don't meet nobody who's like, dude, I met this smoking hot, you know, Beulah or Gertrude. You don't know.
How about a boy? He's such a cute boy. Let's name him Garth. Garth. I never have understood the Garth name either, but hey, we digress.
Oh, I like that. Coach, he's on point though. He's right about that. Some names, they just die off because they're not cool anymore. I don't know what happened. All right, let's get to another sponsor before we answer some more of the questions here. We appreciate you guys. Let's thank our friends over at Von Lane before we move on. Thank you to our friends over at Von Lane. And if you use Von Lane, you'll be very thankful to them as well. If you're trying to get to Houston or trying to get to Dallas or Fort Worth or San Antonio or Austin, travel any of the major cities in Texas or even in the region here in the Southwest, Von Lane, folks, is the best option for you. Now, some of you out there have taken, flights to get to these different cities, and you'll admit it's a very stressful process. All right. Hoping your flight isn't delayed and dealing with the airport chaos. Also, you can try to make that drive yourself. That also is a very stressful proposition. You got to deal with road rage and you battle traffic and you lose so much productivity driving on the road. Well, the third option is a much better option. It is a luxurious option. Our friends over at Von Lane offer you the best travel experience on the road today. You arrive at a luxury hotel terminal, no TSA lines, no long-term parking lots, just a seamless boarding experience that takes minutes, not hours. You settle into one of just 22 oversized first-class leather seats with a 140-degree recline leg rest and a cabin attendant serving complimentary snacks, beverages, and on select trips, a full meal if you need. And if you need to relax, pretty simple. Just lean back and enjoy the ride. But if you want to stay productive, well, that's easy too. They got high-speed Wi-Fi and power at every seat. Follow Travel is booking fast, so reserve your spot now for October trips to Texas versus OU in Dallas, F1 and ACL in Austin, or college football weekends in Nashville, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston. Von Lane connects Austin, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Nashville, Atlanta, Memphis, and now Knoxville, Tennessee, the Woodlands, and Plano, Texas as well. Visit vonlane.com and use the code OTF25 to save $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. That's Von Lane Elevated Regional Bus Transportation. So I've taken Von Lane several times. I love it. My wife has taken it several times too. I guarantee you take it once, you'll become a big fan and you'll be using it more and more. Thank you to our friends over at Von Lane. All right, back to the super chats, gentlemen. How about this one from Juan? Thank you, Juan, for the super chat. Guys, what do you think? Gundy to Virginia Tech or UCLA? So, do you believe Gundy's out? Gundy's done? It's definitely. I believe that. I do believe Gundy might be done there. What's the right fit for Gundy, Coach? What are your thoughts about that? Because Gundy is a special kind of eccentric, which I like, by the way. He's very interesting. But this day and age, where is Gundy going to fit?
I can see Gundy just hanging out 6th Street in Austin, just having a good time.
Coach, I was going to say Gundy needs to give you a call, go get himself a ranch, kick his feet up, and enjoy some sunsets.
Some songwriting. I bet he'd be good in songwriting, so he can teach him how to write songs.
It's just a shame that he can't go out. I mean, he really has done. I can't imagine anybody over the period of time he's been there with the resources he has to be able to do what he's done. But I think it's played out,
Yeah.
Happy 18th anniversary to a man that's 40. Oh, man.
All-time great rant too. That's one of the all-time
one of the best ever.
Greatest coaching rants in history. I think first of all, everybody who knows me knows I think Mike Gundy's a hell of a coach. I've always said you look for somebody that does more with less. Mike Gundy is definitely in the top 5 of that conversation in college football and has been. He has had a very tough time adjusting to the new era of college football, transfer portal, NIL. He has not embraced it. And I think that may have expedited his, downfall there at Oklahoma State. But you're right, Coach. At one point, he's been there forever. So at one point, the message gonna get stale. That's just in my opinion. I don't know if you can be at a place 20-something years anymore. I don't know if that happens in the new age.
He's beat us plenty of times through the years.
Oh yeah.
He's done a great job, but it may have passed him by.
So we think, do we think Mike Gundy's not gonna? I think he's gonna coach again, but the question is, where does he fit I don't think he fits at UCLA. I don't know if he fits on the West Coast for a lot of reasons. I don't want to talk about all of them. I don't see Gundy on the West Coast like that.
Well, if he got the mullet back, he'd go to West Virginia, maybe.
That's true. That's a great call.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
I kind of tossed out the idea earlier, if Arkansas moves from Pittman.
Oh, that's good.
Now, if you're at Arkansas, you're going to have to play the NIL game. And you're going to have a lot of NIL backing as well. Is that something that Gundy is, open to doing? Because I don't think he adopted the NIL and the portal as quickly as he should have. And that's a big reason why Oklahoma State's in the state of the program that it's in currently. So, look, he might be a good fit for them, but they might not look at him the same way.
I like that, CJ. That's good. That's a good fit right there.
All right. And will they let him freelance his coach talk the way that he's been able to do at Oklahoma State too?
Very true.
Oh yeah, he likes to say what he wants to say, and he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have a filter really. He's gonna say it, and Oklahoma State loved it because it was free publicity, and they liked.
Yeah, he's Lane Kiffin kind of. They're in the same.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and maybe if you're Arkansas, maybe you need that. I mean, maybe you need some. I mean, honestly, when who was that? Was it Brett Bielema? Was he the borderline erotic guy when it said that beating Texas?
No, that was
who was that? Who was the borderline erotic guy?
Was from Wisconsin. He was head coach at Arkansas.
Who was he?
Brett Bielema.
Yeah, Brett Bielema.
Yeah, that's right.
Said borderline erotic, and that was at Arkansas.
Yeah, that was.
I think you can be that at Arkansas. Actually, I think Arkansas would embrace it. Actually, if you beat now, you got to win.
You got to win.
You got to win.
If you give Gundy the resources that could be available at Arkansas, the only school in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I guess Power 4 school in the state. So
yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I like Jay. That was good. That's a good spot. Thank you, Juan.
He needs to hire him a good NIL guy, like Brandon Harris.
Yes,
that's true.
And I will say this: I don't know if there's a more perfect fit for Mike Gundy than Walmart and Tyson Chicken Nuggets, because that's what they got up there in Fayetteville.
That's perfect for him. That's a great point.
No, I'm serious. I agree with that, man. I'm with you. I said that more and more, CJ. That sounds like a great fit. If you're Arkansas and you're moving on. That guy, I think that would be a home run hire for you, honestly. But like you said, you got to make sure you get him a transfer portal GM and a GM that can handle the NIL side for him. So
but are they going to be able to get rid of the interim head coach?
Oh, that's true. Petrino
at Arkansas, who I read will try to find some way to implode the hiring of a new coach. The picture of him in the neck brace with his face all skinned out.
I'm about to say he's got a history, so let's.
He's got a history. That's great. Yeah, but he's a dang good football coach.
Yeah, he is.
He's a dang good football coach, but I don't think he's going to get that job again.
Tyson Chicken sponsored
the monster. Put him a Banty Rooster hat on. He got a little comb going down the top of his head.
Oh, that's great. All right, getting back to the super chat. OG Sling Blade says maybe it's been discussed already, but has the 2 deep been solidified at every position, or will we continue to see a heavy rotation of youngsters? That is a good question.
Great question.
Just through these first 4 games, it was considered like some of these young guys are still competing for these spots, and there's still depth chart decisions being made, and with the reps they were going to get versus San Jose State versus UTEP and Sam Houston, that would determine like who the third running back's going to be, right? It seems like it's Christian Clark right now at the third running back spot. But yeah, CJ, what are your thoughts about that? I think it's a really good question. I'm assuming they're done.
Yeah.
With the heavy rotations of all the young guys.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's not a whole lot of room for guys right now. You know, if you haven't gotten on the field in these non-conference, especially the last 3 weeks, you know, I think it's going to be tough. Now, injuries will occur, and that's on the unfortunate side of football, but and I think you got a pretty good understanding, right? Sark mentioned, what was the number, Coach? You tossed out 87 guys over the first four weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by now you have an understanding of who sits where on the pecking order. And again, it's pretty difficult to jump guys ranked 1, 2, or 3 on the depth chart in the middle of the season when those are the guys on the field earning the trust of the coaches, et cetera. So right now I feel like what you see on a depth chart is basically what you're going to get moving forward, unless someone behind the scenes just takes a massive leap.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think they're done right now with working in the younger guys for them to try to get quality reps. I think at this point they know who they need to win with. They know who those core group of guys are. Also, OG Slingblade had another one. This was for CJ. OG Slingblade says, also, CJ, gonna need the new movie reviews from the bye week ASAP. Start with training day. He did watch No Country for Old Men, so I know he watched that one because I saw on Twitter he talked about it and we discussed it at the Hole in the Wall. So, all right, CJ, the bye week we probably should get a movie review or 2 from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have one for next Monday. Look, I got training days number 2 right here on the list.
Nice.
I got an 8.7 for No Country for Old Men. Look, it's a great bad guy, all-time bad
crazy,
guy. I
isn't
did
it?
not follow Sleep Allen. I'm a tough grader, but that was a really enjoyable movie, no doubt.
Shakur, what is his name?
And is it Anton Shakur? Anton Shakur or something?
Yeah, and the way what's his name? White Man Can't Jump. The way he played that,
Woody Harrelson.
Unbelievable. He's played great in that too. Then there's, of course, my stunt double in that movie as well.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people say.
No, I
told my wife that, and I thought she was going to fall out of her chair laughing. Was this guy drunk?
There is a likeness. I think there actually is a likeness. Remember Matthew did that he did like the poster for No Country for Old Men. I think he put like your face on or something.
Yeah. Hey, when the season's over with, guys, we got to have just like best of the season, just like going back and looking at highlights of, you know, some of CJ's great moments and tantrums and Rod, some of your kind of go off from the pulpit speeches and, you know.
That's not a bad idea. Best of.
Have the best highlight, funniest moments of the
winning drive.
Winning drive. Yeah.
Give Matthew more work to do. That's exactly what we should.
Yeah, like Matthew.
Matthew is like, what the hell? Who's doing that? Me? I'm doing
it. What the hell is that idea?
Yeah, a couple of more questions here before we end tonight's live stream, guys. Paxton here says, Mike Gundy turned into Al Bundy for the good. 4 touchdowns in 1 game for Polk High, baby. Al Bundy. I used to love Married with Children. I used to love it. CJ, you never watched Married with Children, did you?
No. Do I need to put it on the list?
No, not necessarily.
It's about 8 seasons.
Yeah. It wasn't,
I don't got time for that, Coach.
No, it wasn't that good of a show, but it was just iconic. And for the football folks out there, he was always bragging about his football days. Al Bundy. He was a shoe salesman, by the way. I know way too much about Al Bundy, by the way.
Hey, you know who could put that to? Hey, CB, put together a highlight. End of the year, CB could do it.
CB could do it. CB probably could do it. Actually, he's probably already done it. Honestly, he'd be like, "Oh, I did that already. I'll send it to you." All right, Paxton with another one. This was for you, Coach. He said, "Echo Shipley. I don't live far from T-Bone Pickens Ranch." My dad does oil field work near that place sometimes. Man,
Wow.
how
How many acres is that place, by the way? I wonder, Paxton. I guess I could Google it, but yeah, I've never been up in that area, that part of the state much. But he made a lot of money off of oil and made a lot of money off of water.
T-Boone Pickens. Didn't T-Boone go like become like a billionaire, go broke, and then get it all back?
Oh yeah.
Pretty impressive.
That's amazing.
I heard it's an amazing place.
That's wild. Well, that's what honestly Mike Gundy needed this day and age. If T-Boone Pickens, obviously, rest in peace. But if he or T-Boone Pickens like figure can be their sugar daddy, that's what they needed. And he was their sugar daddy for years, but NIL wasn't a thing and revenue sharing wasn't a thing. This day and age, he would be what Cody Campbell is for Texas Tech.
Yes, sir.
He would, he would basically be a force and he would make them relevant. By the way, Texas Tech does look good, though. They look good. They're pretty good. Matthew, look at this. Boom. There it is.
4,000 acres. Oh, my God.
What the hell?
Crazy.
That's how big the ranch is?
You can retire off of selling that ranch, Coach.
Good Lord. Yeah.
That's almost 100 sections of land.
Look at that. Look at that.
$70 million.
Coach, how many Shipley ranches? Is that
I'd probably sell that ranch and wouldn't charge but about 3% commission.
You give him a discount, Coach?
I'd give him the coach's discount.
Oh, that's a great place there to
think. Hey, you'd have to be in a helicopter, an airplane to see the ranch.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you, I've got in airplanes and hadn't flown that far.
That's amazing. That's crazy. All right, let's thank our last sponsor before we say goodnight. Let's thank our friends over at South Point Dodge. Texas football fans, you can score an easy extra point this season when you get to the point with our friends over at South Point Dodge. South Point Dodge has over 600 vehicles in stock right now, including the all-new 2025 Ram 1500. Get the real deal today and drive away in the all-new Ram 1500, proven to last. Plus, you get employee incentive pricing right now with our friends over at South Point Dodge. That's right. You pay what the employees pay at South Point Dodge. That's the real deal, and you won't find a better deal. So score big today at southpointdodge.com. Go see them off of I-35 in South Austin, or go online at southpointdodge.com. Get to the point with our friends over at South Point Dodge. Real quick, before we get out of here, I did want to bring up this story because I do think it is.
Oh, goodness. That's unbelievable.
It's great.
That is unbelieliable.
Oh, that is great.
Well done, Matthew.
You can tell it's an open week. We don't have an opponent to talk about, so it's open. It's open. Everybody's open. It's open.
Chicken nuggets on hair.
Chicken nuggets on. But our next opponent will be Florida after the bye week, of course. This story came out via Swamp 247. Said Florida starting quarterback DJ Lagway is back in a boot to treat an undisclosed injury following their 26-7 loss to Miami. He was previously spotted in a boot late in the offseason to treat a calf strain that he suffered in July, which limited his ability to practice throughout most of Florida's fall training camp. It marked his third offseason injury of the year, as throwing shoulder soreness and a core muscle ailment prevented him from attempting passes during the Gators spring training camp between March and April. So a source familiar with Lagway's situation did express confidence that the second-year quarterback will be ready to take on Texas October 4th following their bye week. So
yeah, I've seen guys in boots that play in 10 days to 2 weeks. I mean, it's totally precautionary, just so he doesn't step on a rock or off a curb or something. It's just precautionary. Most of the times when I've seen them put people in boots, it's not that serious.
Okay.
Nope. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to. I mean, a guy that wasn't really healthy all fall camp, it makes sense that, hey, if you have a bye week, there's no reason for you to be even in a position to sprain an ankle or step off of a curb incorrectly. They have to get this guy healthy. Their whole season rides on it, and so far, he's not really been close to that. So this is the time in which they look at it and say, all right, to bubble wrap you go, DJ. We need you.
Yep. All right. Good stuff, guys. Thank you to Matthew behind the scenes. He's always working hard and doing a great job. The real MVP of any of these programs here on Texas Football. Thank you, CJ. Great job as always. Appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you, Coach, for the wisdom and the knowledge and the levity. You're always cherished here on this program. Thank you to Stevie Lee as well, my former teammate and lifetime Longhorn, always bringing the noise with Stevie Lee. We appreciate his time. Thanks to our sponsors, Hardgrove Roofing, hardgroveroofing.com. Thanks also to South Point Dodge, southpointdodge.com. And thank you to Von Lane, vonlane.com. Use that code OTF25 to save $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. Tomorrow, you got Coffee and Football bright and early at 8:15 with Bobby and Jerry. So you got any questions for those guys, any of the questions that we missed, so I apologize about that. We couldn't get to all the questions. You can direct them to the gentleman at Coffee and Football bright and early tomorrow morning. Also, you have Tuesday's live stream with Amanda Atwell, CJ Vogel, and Jeff Howe will be a part of that live stream. And I hear that it is a banger all the time. Having a great time.
Come on.
That. All right. For CJ, for Coach, and for Matthew, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Ride Babers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.